Good morning. How many of you find that white page, that long, seems quite a long pause, seems to take forever before I come on live in the screen? So good morning, it's 8 o'clock, it's Feedback Friday, and today I want to encourage you to rate your week. I want you to think about the week that's just gone. So those of you that may be on holiday, what's worked about it? I'll pop those in the chat box, I think I can do that. So we're asking the question, what has worked about your week? Oh, can't spell work. Okay, I think that's going to go. I can't post comments to some destinations. Okay, so what's worked about your week has gone to YouTube and it's gone to Facebook. So I'm sorry if LinkedIn, you haven't got that. Someone's just joined me live. Please say hello to me. Tell me whereabouts are you tuning in from? Whereabouts in the world, the country? Let me know who you are. That'd be lovely. It's always nice to know who's with me. Talking about what's worked about your week. We're always going to talk about what's not gone so well, and also what could have worked better. So I'm going to put here what has not gone so well, and also what could have worked better. And the reason why we do this, and I'm going to talk also about how you have to get your body involved with this, what could have, perhaps I should have pre-posted these, wrote these out instead of what could have worked better. Okay, so they're the three questions that we do every Friday, and I do this with my clients all the time. But one of the other things I do with my clients is get them to get their whole body involved, and I want to talk to you about why that's important. So from a very young age, before your brain's fully formed, they're said that you only have two fears when you're first born. You either have a fear of falling and a fear of loud noises. And any other fears are accumulated over time. But when we get to adulthood, we can find ourselves in a position where we're feeling unsettled and we don't feel quite right, but we can't quite cognitively, we haven't got the language to describe it. And one of the theories behind it is because your body keeps score, even when something's happened in your brain when you were too young to be able to cognitively remember it. And so one of the things that can happen is that when something shocks our system, so if something horrible happens or we have some sort of traumatic experience, the brain is a really clever mechanism because it actually freezes time at a moment before the trauma so that you don't have to relive it. So, you know, we'd only ever have one child if we could all remember exactly how childbirth felt. But what happens is it gets frozen just beforehand. But what the brain doesn't always do particularly well is unfreeze it afterwards and say, you survived, you thrived, you're okay, you're safe now. And so it freezes time so you can't remember it, but your body sometimes can feel the visceral memories of it. So if something happens to trigger that sensation, it'll be because your system remembers it, even though cognitively you haven't got the ability to express it or process it or talk about it. So one of the things also to remember is when things are really horrible and things are not going very well, we tend to get the whole body involved. So we tend to go, oh, for goodness sake, why do they do that? I can't believe it. And we tend to get the face all scrunched up. We might use our hands, we use our body. But generally what happens, if something goes really well, we go, oh, that was all right. And there's kind of little tiny body movements. So one of the things that I encourage my clients to do, and I do on a regular basis myself, is when something goes well, no matter how small or how little or how insignificant it might feel, get in the habit of having some kind of body movement. Talk about it, say it out loud, write it down so that you can see it. So that's using your auditory senses, your visual senses, and then your kinesthetic senses will be your movement. So what you can be doing is like, yay! So when you see sportsmen and women get their personal best and they go, yes! By doing these sort of kind of punching in the movements, they've got a body movement that their brain is now having a muscle memory that says, that means we're doing okay, we're getting better, it's improving. And what can happen in life is that we get so busy doing the do that we don't stop to celebrate what is working, what has worked. And what can happen is the past becomes part of your present, and you're busy planning the future, that becomes part of your present. So when you're in this moment right now, your brain is processing so many different timelines. It's worrying about what didn't go well in the past. It's maybe worrying about what could go wrong in the future. That right now it doesn't really know whether you are safe. And as human beings, we talk very fast. And right now in this moment, you are going through time. So what I just said that was the present has now become the past, and what I'm about to say that's in the future right now has just become the present. And so it's quite logical that the way that we talk to ourselves and about ourselves in relation to spreading things out and going, well, that's the past, that's what's going to happen in the future, and this is what's happening now, that information can get all overlaid and we can start to confuse our own system that right now in this moment I'm not under threat. And so one of the reasons for rating your week and actually then thinking about, so how I think about your week, if you rated it on a scale of 1 to 10, 0 being it's been like every single minute of every single day of every second of every minute has been a complete disaster, nothing has worked well, it's been the worst week of your life, then it's a 0. To 10, every single thing you've ever done this week has been absolutely amazing, and the things that didn't go well, you've learned massive lessons from it. It's made you realise what you're going to do later, what you'll do differently, and it's just been a complete joy to go through the week. Then that's a 10. And I think mine might have actually been a 10. Thinking about it, there's been some ups and downs, there's been some learnings, but there's been lots and lots of things to celebrate this week. That's not to say that my weeks are always that rating, but this week particularly, having had 3 weeks holiday, I've come back and it's been a real joy to get back into work, and pretty much everything so far has gone to plan. And I want you to think about, once you've rated it, just think about, where does that number come from? And is your attention on everything that didn't work? Because one of the things we can do when we clump up a piece of time, like the week, we can say it's been a terrible year, or we can say it's a terrible month, or but actually we just put our own system into a stressful state when we don't remember that within a week there's been individual days, and within days there's been individual hours, and those minutes and seconds if you can remember and recall those moments of joy, or the moments of things that are working, then in this moment you stabilize your systems, you stop it from feeling stressed. And one of the reasons to do that is because of the fact that if you don't, then you end up operating from the part of your brain which is the survival brain, often known as the reptilian or mammalian. And when we're in a survival state, we cannot predict or forecast what we want to have happen going forward, and we cannot reflect on the past because we're just in this moment trying to fight, flight or flee this particular moment. And so when we take the time to reflect on and separate out what's worked, and we give what's worked, what's not worked, what could work better, equal opportunity to be heard, and we physically get the body involved, what we do is compartmentalize and separate out the time frames. When we take time to plan what we'd like to have happen, so one of my routines, and if you watch my Make It Happen Mondays, which is often, we also talk about managing the critic, is on a Monday, I plan what I want to have happen for the week, and I look back on what I wanted to have happen for this month, and I look back on what I wanted to have happen for this quarter, and I look at what is working and what's not working so well and what needs to happen for it to work better, and that's how I create my plan. But having those separate times where I'm looking into the future and reflecting on the past, and every single day I reflect on what worked about today, what didn't work, what could have worked better, and I do my physical celebrations and dances to notice the stuff that's working really well, because the stuff that didn't do well, I will have got my body involved on autopilot. It would have just happened. By doing that, it means that in the moment, on a day-to-day basis, I can totally be present and actually enjoy what is happening in life, and have patience and time for the things and people that matter. So I hope today's video has been of use to you. I'd really love to hear what's worked for you this week, what's not gone so well, what could have worked better, and how would you rate your week on a scale of 1 to 10. And if you feel up to it, please do share below, sort of check with your body, how would your body like to celebrate the changes or the progress or the improvement, the things that, even just taking the time to acknowledge that things have not gone well, that will change your state, because your system will be going, does he know about it? Does she know about it? Have you trying to remind you? So even acknowledging if you've had the worst week ever, take some time to celebrate the fact that maybe right now in this moment, acknowledging what kind of week you've had, that's a change for you. And that can be where you go, okay, so I'm going to draw a line now. That's the past. What do I want to have happen in the future? And just ask your body what it would like to have happen. How would it like to move in order to celebrate it? Now, some people might do a quite quiet, I'm a bit more of a yay kind of kitchen dancing kind of person. Some people are like, yeah, I'm going to do a power stretch. Other people are like punching in the air. You choose. Listen to your body, trust your own instincts. But what I truly recommend is that you get your body involved with the celebrations as much as you do the commiserations when things don't go well. And that will help balance your system up. But also, if you have had any past trauma or anything happened when you were younger, by doing the physical work, you will start to change the state and help to rectify those moments in your life when trauma has frozen time but forgotten to unlock the system afterwards to say, right now in this moment you are safe. Have an amazing bank holiday weekend. Obviously I won't be here actually on Monday because it's bank holiday. I will see you again next Friday. Speak to you all soon.